are particularly weird because we connect with our first name on such like a deep level. It's such a huge part of who we are, and yet we have absolutely no say in what we get named, you know? Like, we are absolutely not consulted on that decision in any kind of way. And because that's the way that life works, it's unfortunate that, you know, you get the situation where people just have to walk through the rest of their lives as like Randy or like Chauncey, you know? And it's like, it doesn't seem fair to me. You know, no one deserves to be born into like a Chauncey situation. Because like, what are the odds, like that kid's screwed right at the top, you know? Like, what are the odds he's not gonna be at least kind of a dick? Your Chauncey, odds are, you know? And I know like if you hate your name enough, you know, you can get it legally changed. But still, you know, your formative years were like as Gertrude, you know? Gertie for short, which is maybe worse, you know? Like you had to live through high school as Floyd. And that kind of emotional scarring, that's forever, you know? Like, you could change your name to Jack, but somewhere that you're Floyd and it hurts always, you know? Which is why I feel like if, you know, the people getting named at a say, like, Gaylord wouldn't exist as a name. No Kermits, no Chads, you know? Just good names, you know? My name's okay, Emilia Barrosse, you know? But because it sounds normal, I think to compensate, my parents just spelled it really fucking weird, just so that I would know life was going to be hard from a young age, you know? Like, my first name is Emilia, but it's spelled E-M-I-L-I-A, which makes it look a lot like Emily if you're too fucking lazy to read to the end of a 6-letter word, you know? I'm constantly getting called Emily, which means people are constantly going, I fucking get the idea, okay? It's gonna be Emily. It never is. If my name is getting read off of a roster, holy crap. If my name's getting read off of a roster, you know, we're human up here, guys, 100%. If my name's getting read off of a roster 100% of the time, it is mispronounced or just ignored and people say whatever is in their heart at the moment. That's the only excuse I can think of. My name, in case you forgot from earlier, is Emilia Barrosse. Twice in my life, I've been read off of a roster as Emily Bonaducci. I'm not even kidding. Stuff. Yeah, no, actually, twice in a 5-year span. Weird. It's tough, though. And speaking of tough, let's just quickly talk about the Central American drug crisis. Because it's real, it's happening, it's a nightmare. You know, it's terrible down there. Mothers are just, I don't know if you guys remember this news story, but moms are literally putting their kids on buses, busing them up to America, hoping that they can have the American dream, you know, live a better life, but then the kids are getting fucked at the border, and then it's a nightmare, and it's like, I don't even want to bitch about my life anymore, because then the comparison is just so awkward. So, like, I'm getting affected by the drug crisis, and it shows you how far-reaching the effects of a drug war are, and, like, you realize, it's true, like, one person does drugs, we all lose, you know? And, like, I was bitching to my mom the other day about my life, you know, and I was, like, saying, you know, AAA's up my ass, because I keep locking my keys in my car because I'm human, you know? And like, traffic is hard always, because it's like, it's so boring. And sometimes people in front of you leave their turn signals on, and you don't know if they're going to go into the other lane, or like if you just have to stay there so you don't know what the fuck to do, so like already you're stuck, but you're even more stuck, and it's like, Mom, you know. And she goes, Emilia, I hear you. But I read this story the other day, it might make you feel better. There's a weed farmer in Guatemala, and every week, the drug cartels, they come to his home, and they take his wheat and his money, and if it's not enough, they take one of his kids. Yeah. So Emilia, just try to get some perspective. And I'm like, okay, Mom, listen, I hear you, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and see your perspective and raise you another perspective, okay? Mom, I am a white, female, 23-year-old born and raised in Southern California. I'm not going to be able to relate to the middle-aged wheat farmer in Guatemala. I'm not going to have it. For a couple of obvious reasons. Number one, I don't know the first thing about harvesting wheat. Not the first thing. You put me on a wheat farm, I'm fucking lost. I'm dead weight, alright? What am I supposed to do? Use a scythe? I don't know how that shit's spelled, let alone how it's used, okay? That's number one. Number two, I'm going to go ahead and say that relationships between me and a drug cartel have been amicable, if not non-existent, okay? I'm proud of that, Mom, alright? Those are just some facts. Mom, I own a Chrysler, alright? I will watch Burn Notice if it is on, okay? I read the Twilight books, all fucking 9 of however fucking many there are. Okay, that's my life. That's my truth. I'm not proud of it, but I own up to it. That's what I know, all right? And by the way, Mom, what kind of a life would I have to be living if I could compare it to the wheat farmer in Guatemala's, all right? Like, sure, if I could compare if my life was comparable to that, I wouldn't give a shit about AAA. I wouldn't have a car, you know? I'd have to worry about keeping my horse alive. That'd be tough enough, you know? I'd be using the Twilight series as kindling, which even in this life, in retrospect, is a better idea than real, to be real. You want to have that perspective conversation, Mom? You talk to my great-grandparents. They're farmers, they get it. But my great-grandparents didn't plow the North 40 so that I could, a century later, plow that 40, you know what I'm saying, Mom? Like, they plowed the 40 so that a century later I could sit my ass on the 40, watch Burnotice, and bitch about AAA, right? I mean, that's the American dream, am I wrong? No, right? American dream right here, guys. Right?